the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an internet, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and other chronic conditions like gout and arthritis?
Those who use alkaline water have reported increased energy levels, clearer skin, reduction in inflammation, better digestion, and many other health benefits. I've used alkaline water for years, and it's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 773-846-3091. Thank you in advance for your support.
Hi, my name is Sister Ebony Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to the T.O.M.A Nation's weekly Sunday worship service from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/TOMANation2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302. Now I am going to recite our opening. In the name of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aton, among the Hebrews as Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Olumare, Eshu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all these names refer to the same one, Almighty Spirit, and it is to that essence which I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born in North America, and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flows through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I am going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2. We believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3. We believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11, we believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12, we believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the black community of weapons, break up the black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young black males under the undercover code name Able 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Rahim Chesed Aton, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can't rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal properties, thereby creating jobs and/or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it, this flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, oh flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men and women shall dream of it, face shots and shells for it, maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colors bright and pole of it, pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. thanks to God for giving it, this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem. Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people.
No, this your Bible. Honey, both is yours? Live. Greetings, everyone. I am Minister Taharka J. Shakur. I am your host for today, which is a relief because I am typically one of the speakers.
Greetings. As Minister Tahaka said, I am Sister Ebony Stevenson. Talk about in Black communities all across America with everything that's going on. But before I begin, I am going to recite our opening. One who directs the sunshifts of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe. Known among the ancient Kemites as Amun-Ra and Aton, among the Hebrews as Ansaf, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and in the Islamic world as Allah, the one God, and among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, eternal divine spirit, and it is to it whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those Black men and women that survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the lost. I greet you in the ancient yet holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habar Ghani, Alafia, and Ashe. As I said, the title of my lecture is Black Survival During Times of Disaster. In our opening every Sunday, you hear us chant Black Power, right? And Black Power is nothing more than the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the interest of Black people. In our here at T.O.M.A, we have prescribed reading every month, as you have heard us talk. As they were thousands of years ago, thinking that they will be the winner against him. America, for her evil done to me and my people, shall be isolated and deceived by her friends. The heavens shall withhold their blessing until America is brought into a disgraceful ruin. As we see here in 2022, this book was published decades ago in 1965. And all we have to do for ruin. Do you think America is in this process of its disgraceful ruin right now? Exactly. We here at Temple, we know that America is falling. And if you don't know, you need to know. Now, we know that America, according to the media, is still doing what America does best, minding other countries' business, claiming, this fake sense of righteousness and human rights that we know that America try to push on other countries, while it attempts to continue to destroy its own people, us right here in America. We know that the target of this attempted destruction is us, you, Black men and women, you, Black family, and you, Black youth. In the Holy Bible, in the King James Version, it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues." Black people, we are constantly getting caught up receiving America's plagues because we can't let go of our enemy. We can't let go of our opposition. We can't let go of the white men and women. We can't let go of this devil. And so that's why we keep getting caught up. Every day we turn on the news. Every day we on Instagram, we on TikTok, we on social media. That's conspiracy theory. Like, what are you guys talking about? But this isn't conspiracy theory. This is hard, cold facts. We are at war, Black family. And I'm going to give you an example. The unfortunate truth is that we have no friends. Here in Chicago, I'm going to give you some truth about what happened a couple years ago when the pandemic first started. Here in Chicago, as a reminder, during the George Floyd riots, a lot of our grocery stores got closed. They were shut down because of the rioting. Now, you think how people say, oh, we're all BIPOC or oh, we're all people of color and we're all in the same boat. What happened to Black folk who tried to go over to the Latino communities and visit their grocery stores? Did they embrace us with open arms? No. Did they say, oh, we know your grocery stores are closed, so we all POCs, come shop with us? Did that happen? You think that those communities would have been happy to get our money? We wasn't asking them to give us nothing for free. We just wanted to go spend our money in their communities to get some groceries, right? But no, what happened? The Land Kings ran the Black people out, telling them that they weren't welcome and they didn't want that money. There's nobody coming to save us at all. You know that great white hope that's been forced on us for generations since slavery? That propaganda that's been used to pacify us generation to generation is false. We must save ourselves. Now, today, I'm going to focus on the physical aspects of survival during this lecture. But I believe this conversation, as I said before, should be ongoing. And I will come back to you at a later date to focus on the spiritual side of survival. Now, when you bring up the topic of survival, most people look at you kind of funny. They see what's happening in other countries. Has lived in Dunbar her entire life and said that they aren't surprised that they are still waiting. Unfortunately, many of the residents have been forced to stay in their homes with soiled furnishings, no power, and sewage backup because there's things that we work so hard for. Black people, look around your house. How many of those things that you work so hard for to put in your home? Those huge flat screen TVs, your gaming systems, your furniture, all those things. During the disaster, none of those things were of use to them. They said, our home has housed and provided food and shelter for many throughout the years. We're not asking for handouts, we are asking for help. I could give you more examples of Black folk waiting for help after a natural disaster takes place. In a lot of places in the country, it's not a matter of if, but when. And for the remainder of my lecture, I'm going to discuss things your family should be prepared for in case a disaster hits close to home. Now, the things that I'm about to talk about is nothing new. These used to be practices that almost all Black families practice, that your grandma had in place, that your grandma passed down to your mother, that they had a survival kit, that they had on the Black family, and the loss of the grandmas and the loss of the aunties and the loss of those big mamas who used to hold us down, who are now sitting in nursing homes in communities across the country, we have lost that essence of survival. And so I'm going to start with a couple things. First, if there's a disaster in your community, in your neighborhood, what do you need in a survival kit? What do you think is the number one thing that you would need during a disaster? I'm gonna ask my audience here. Water, right? Water is huge. You won't be able to get access to water like we here in Chicago. If something happens with the water treatment plants here in Chicago and you rely on the tap water as your main source of water, you're gonna be messed up. We saw what happened in Mississippi. How they couldn't drink water and they were surviving on bottled water for how long? It was over a month. Before they had access to water, they couldn't flush their toilets, they couldn't take showers. If you had medicine, you couldn't even take your medicine because you had no water. And so you would think that this is some made for TV sci-fi movie, but it's not. This is our reality, and we got to face it because God gave us these beautiful minds that we have to know what's going on in the world around us, and we need to be prepared. So for water, it's recommended that during a disaster that you put aside 1 gallon per person per day, have an emergency supply for a 3-day supply for evacuation and a 2-week supply for your home. So all this is saying is if you have a water filtration machine, get you some BPA-free water jugs and fill up water now and put it aside. If you don't have a water filtration machine and you on a limited budget, go to Dollar Tree or one of these other businesses or online and get you some water. Or if you would like your survival kit to have alkaline water, you can reach us here at Temple of Mercy Association because we do have that for you. Now, the next thing that's important to have in a survival kit is a flashlight. What happens if the power go out and you need to find your way around your house? You should have a flashlight and a supply of batteries, rechargeable batteries that you can use for that flashlight. The next thing is a battery operated or hand crank radio. The next thing is a first aid kit. There are a lot of things that can happen during a natural disaster. You need a first aid kit that has band-aids and sanitizing things in there, just in case something happens, somebody could fall, and you wouldn't be able to do nothing because you don't have a first aid kit. The next thing is if you take medications. We know because of our diet here in America, a lot of us are on a lot of these medications. You should have a 7-day supply of medications put aside in case of a natural disaster or in sometimes a planned disaster via COVID-19. And medical items. So that's your insulin, that's your high blood pressure medicine, all of those things that you need. In addition to that, you should have a multi-purpose tool, like a Swiss Army knife. You should have sanitation and personal hygiene products. What's something also that happens during natural disasters? If you need to leave your house, a lot of people lose important information. You should have copies of all your personal documents, your social security cards, your birth certificates, any medical information like allergies, your proof of address, the deed or lease to your house, if you have a passport, and your insurance policies. Please make sure that you have copies of your insurance policies put away. You can put them in one of those gallon-sized Ziploc bags if you need to. So in case you do need to leave your house, that you have that information easily accessible. Cell phones with chargers. How many times we've seen that something has happened and people don't have no way to charge their phones? There's no electricity, there's nothing. And a lot of people say, oh, my whole life is on my phone. Well, what happens when you can't charge that phone? So make sure you have some kind of charging device that you can charge your phone. The best devices, and you can find them online on Amazon very inexpensively, are solar charged battery packs, where all you have to do is plug your phone in, and sit the battery and the little mini solar panel out in the sun, and it'll charge your phone anytime that there's light. Also, family and emergency contact information. How many times have we heard from people during a disaster and something happens and they need to reach their family and they can't turn their phone on? What happens? Oh, I don't know their number. So many people don't know their mama number, don't know their daddy number, don't know their grandma number. All they doing is relying on the phone. So if your phone go out, you're in a dangerous situation. So you should write all of those things down or memorize them by heart so that in case something happens, that you're able to deal with that. Extra cash. We have to understand that during the disaster, cash is king, especially here in America. You might be able to get some things, but you're going to see sometimes people not taking credit or debit. Sometimes the ATM machine is down. So you need to have cash ready. Put it somewhere where you know, well, only you know where it is, so that you can access it quickly in a time of disaster. An emergency blanket. We see this all the time when you're watching survivors of natural disasters on videos. They might have to be outside. They might not be able to get in their home. And those emergency blankets are key because it can help keep you warm when the temperatures go down. A map of the area. If you don't know a lot of things, if you don't know where a lot of things are, it's good to have a map of the area in your community. In addition to that, I'm going to talk about a little bit extra things for your family members and supplies to add to your kit. Remember, this is all just basics. I talked about medical supplies, but if you have anybody in your family that has hearing aids, that wears glasses, contact lenses, make sure you have extra supplies of that. If you have babies, make sure you put aside extra bottles, formula, baby food, and diapers. This is very important because you can't rely on getting access to a grocery store during a disaster. If you have children, you can put aside some little mini board games and things to keep the kids entertained. In addition to that, if you have a pet, you should have some emergency pet supplies. I know some of y'all pets is like y'all family. If that's the case, make sure you have a collar, leash, an ID for your pet, food, and any other things that your pet needs. Two-way radios. I'm just gonna go through some of these other things. An extra set of car keys or house keys, and a manual can opener. So many of us got these electric can openers, but if something hit the fan, and you got to survive on canned goods, you're going to have to go the old school way, trying to hit the knife in there, doing all that extra stuff when you won't have to do that if you had a manual can opener. And some other things also to keep in your kit, I'm just going to go through these, is a whistle, face mask, just in case something happened and it's dusty outside, or you have to go to an emergency shelter with a lot of other people, matches, rain gear, towels, work gloves, tools and supplies for securing your house, extra clothing, hats and sturdy boots, especially if you live in sunny areas, plastic sheeting, duct tape, scissors, household liquid bleach, entertainment items, and blankets and sleeping bags. I'm going to end on this with a resource. In Oregon, there's a sister named Sharon Ross. On social media, she goes by the name Afrovivalist. And she talks about things that as Black people we need in order to be prepared for any disasters. I would recommend that you look her up. I'm going to continue this conversation because this is something that we need to discuss for our families so that we are prepared. Now, as I close out, this lecture is just the beginning of this conversation. And although I didn't get a chance to touch on everything needed for disaster prep, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you at a later date. Our next speaker for the day is our leading teacher in God, Minister Rahim, that comes to you today to talk about the lecture, You Can't Harm Pocket. All right. Let my stand to you. And welcome.
Original salute. Black power. Original salute. Black power. Original salute. Black power. Thank you, word.
In the heaven of the eternal, divine spirit, one that causes all that this to exist, one that is self, one that is not that live and treat things, one that makes the spirit good, As long as you have information, uh, uh, among the people that God, God, Elohim, among the Christians, Lord God, Jehovah, among the Muslims in the Bible, Allah, Allah, among us, the strength, Allah, among you, child, Allah, Allah. And many God bear witness that all refer to the same one, all God. It is that eternal kindness, whom I love and to whom I submit. Glory to the plan that we children of those men and women who provide for this man church. We are the most certain child, born here, no America. And we are the new command, live. Perfect plan that the blood of all the nations of the earth flow throughout the time we strong and peace and forget all the blood of peace. And many of the names was a vulture, Shalom, and so different. Let us all share that kind and something about fear. I said, all the words and taking any hands on cause, I reach and peace. Peace. Welcome to the T.O.M.A Technology Association. And we heard our first speaker, Sister Ellen Sears, was also announced for this. And I know Rahim said, I found great movement along with co-counsel, brother, minister of Martin, Yahya, and great movement, Sister Kia, P. Aton. But your answer today was a piece to that video that you will see us happy together with us from wow. And we don't have to follow being or many things to the first in the sense. And so you finish not you finish is the opportunity. Cool. Today I want to belong this song. I read in my heart, I read without any proof, but I read sometimes sing spirit away and have to go back. So I do want to make sure it's true perfect points out based on the title of the lecture and entitled You Can't Come Yet. And I say that because this is kind of the people that are really in college is the Lord. Those people who were not people in the days of old, you heard me say many times, I always continue to say that if I can do it, those things in the body that you read about, those different prophets and messages of God that you read about, in God, I can't really understand. I will understand you for you because I'm not here. When it comes to the word of God, and it goes in, I'm here to help you know that we think that whosoever is true, when God is standing for us, and we get around them, He calls them, and somewhere in the Bible says will come to you as the enemy in the night. But you know that because you don't have the spirit of discernment, you have the interpret the spirit of magic, but interpret many times based on revelate, and understand. They won't cover it to but how, you know, I know it's fun. Say, of you, but Jesus was always the people and it's still in the book. And he said, who do the people say I am? And it was some people others say he knows reincarnated so that you can see it. I'm sure that those people are asking me. He said, well, don't you said that. And he said, oh, Christ is coming. Now, see the word that will please God. He said, flesh and blood did not reveal it to you. But blood did he did not see what he said to Jesus from these lies. But he had to talk about this that all into the power of the shadow of giving the eye of peace. This is the first blood of the children that God has a time of spirit. God's spirit people in his body came. And because they didn't get access to Christianity, the happens people respond. The most resist because they didn't see his call. Yes, Jesus called. How do you know? Because you people say, surprise call. Who he is? That's their pastor job. See, you see what he's done. And do you believe that he is today? It's not God words trying to love you. And I don't know who they are because they know they're close. See, God in his infinite wisdom made nothing valuable easy to see for him. He has proof in inside or he how he got there. Deep, deep, deep in the earth, and then when we did see far down, he said, "Why? Even deeper inside." You gotta look all out to get to what's going to bring all in his hand with the people of God that it gave you. So maybe I can't do it because there's not more. And I think that with the rest, well, pray, stay, God, stay out, you in the pray. I will be first because I told you I'm very spiritual because a lot of people read the Bible and grow up. So I will let you know that it's Bible in your face. Now, what I want to say is dealing with community lists. Psalm 23, verse 2. Yet, though I do that of the shadow of death, I will know, but that was with me, that woman, and that said, they are okay. I thought I spoke this because, see, that was something good to communist and yet for ye. That was for me. And the book of Jesus. What does he say? What does he say? Oh, how dare you? That's what you are saying. I know that, but you're saying, how dare you put out that book? Call him Mr. Well, first, Mr. Christian, you call him Jesus because he doesn't do what he did. And when we told it to you, you still refused to say it. You still want to say the name of Jesus. So you still don't say I just have to be honest. Now let's go to Revelation. Let's see if Revelation moves something higher. In the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9, it says, I know thy works. Now this is, well, it's not God, but this is the seven church that is in the Bible where they need, you know, giving a test or telling you, you're looking at it, well, they don't church level good and as to how they stand in work in the name of God. And this is what the scripture they said, I know your works and your tribulation, and then it said, about this. Then it said, I know the then you say they are Jews, and I'm not. But I'm sent out of the permanent revelation in the next. See, this is something that the Jews, to be honest with you, spoke to the black folk before this, and worked hard with them to try to get them to evangelize and change, or even erase that scripture from life. First thing they did, apologize for the people in the church. Not saying, but them and the Catholic Church, they play a role, but they play a role in form of helping people kill and what they what when people some the church running from the government chaos. So people that were with ran into the church. And they had a silent. So the Jews said, y'all need to apologize. And also, because we truly, and we know they don't, Jews never forgive you. They never forgave Jesse Jackson for saying hi. And every year he has to go to Israel and talk to the youth and all and tell them that, you know, they are this and that, and he has to apologize for what he said back in 1980 something. And he old as dust right now, but they don't care if he can't talk or not. Get your butt over here to Israel and let somebody read it while you stand there. Because you're going to apologize. How long? Forever. And so the Pope apologized. But they don't leave it there. They said, now we need you to take that out. What I just read, they need him to take that out. See, the Catholic Church can change things in the Bible. They are the ones who are responsible for taking some of the books out. That's their authority. Everybody own people. Revelation 3 and 9, this is another one they want out of it. Says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. You say Satan. Which say they are Jews and are not. Now here's the other part. But do lie. But do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee, the true children of Judah, the true children of Israel. And so, we have no part in when the Creator chooses someone to stand before people and reveal their ways and their sins to the world. We don't choose that person. But we should be praying for the spirit of discernment that we might be able to know when that is that higher power, when that is God in that person. Not always looking at who they are, but what are they doing? Are they fulfilling a part of the scripture? And I'm here to say that Kanye feels a part in scripture. No matter what you call it, no matter what you think about it. So I want to read a little something so we can know who Kanye West is. I do know that he is in Chicago, I don't think he was born in Chicago, according to this, but he grew up in Chicago. Kanye West, legal name, changed his name legally to Ye or Ye. Born June 8, 1977 in Atlanta, Georgia. American producer, rapper, fashion designer, who parlayed his production success in the late 90s and early 2000s into a career as a popular, critically acclaimed soloist. The child of a photographer and former Black Panther father, and a college professor mother. He grew up in Chicago, attended Chicago State University for 1 year before dropping out to pursue a career in music. Early on, he demonstrated his considerable abilities as a producer, working with Jermaine Dupri and others. I'm kind of skipping because you can go on Britannica online and get all of this. He finally released his own solo album, The College Dropout, in 2004. It was massively successful. Sales soared. Critics gushed over his sonic sophistication and clever wordplay. He had also a gospel choir backed one of his songs called Jesus Walks. I know y'all remember that. And that won a Grammy Award for Best Rap Song in 2005. And he also picked up awards that year for Best Rap Album, Best Rhythm and Blues Song, as one of the songwriters of Alicia Keys' You Don't Know My Name. Then it says, abetted by his flamboyant personality, and I crossed that out and said charismatic. He rose to stardom. His second album, Late Registration, repeated the same commercial success as the first one. Now, here's the part I'm going to stop on because I heard Sister Ebony mention this. It says he also gained attention for his widely quoted assertion that the federal government's slow response to Hurricane Katrina's disaster in New Orleans in 2005, it demonstrated that President George W. Bush doesn't care about Black people. A comment that Bush later characterized as one of the worst moments of his presidency. And we know that right after that, his mother mysteriously died from a minor surgery facelift. Minor, wasn't a major one, like, what's her name, what's her name? Joan Rivers. Hers was major, you can tell by her face. To that puppet. Anyway, y'all know the puppet we're talking about too, because we know that puppet that used to come on all the time. Y'all don't know it all the time.
Lamb chop.
So now let's talk about Katrina, because you see, I'm here to show you how correct Kanye is and what he's doing and why he did it. I'm here to back him up by showing you that the Temple of Mercy is not a Johnny-come-lately movement. We bought out everything Kanye West is saying back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I'm going to read some of that, what we bought out, and you tell me if it doesn't sound similar, basically the same. So the Jews want us to have this little relationship with them, but it's a lopsided relationship. even though he mentioned George Bush, if they want to be our friend, how come they are not trying to help us get out of the conditions that we're in? I have, off of their particular website, during the time of Hurricane Katrina, 2 news articles. And it said, the first one, we have successfully rescued 99% of our people from that disaster. We're still looking for one more. The next article, the next day. We have successfully rescued 100% of our people from this Katrina disaster, and they are now safe. Our people. Did you hear anywhere they rescued one of us while we still on the road? Did you hear about them rescuing any of us anywhere during the Katrina situation? Did you hear about any of them being in that big stadium? But they want to have a relationship with us, but it's lopsided. And we want to accept that, right? But yet they saved themselves. And I'm certain that they saved themselves in Mississippi. Not us. Not one of us. So I want you to understand this war for this planet between 2 white groups. I'm telling you, they white people. You heard me say it. I don't care if they're Italian or whatever, they all white to me. I come from a Native American background, Cherokee. We call them pale face. If your face is pale and your hair look like fur, you are the pale face group. That's just it. Automatic. Now you can go all into the, well, hey, my mama black, her daddy black. I don't care if your hair is fur and your face is pale. You fit the description. You couldn't pull that over the Indians at that time. So you're not going to pull it over on me. Now, I had to say that because that is where he first got in trouble, but he only got in trouble because the Creator had already given him this spirit of discernment that he could see beyond what was directly in front of his face. You could hear it in his music. In one of his videos, he had wings, a white suit on, and angel wings. We know that, the T.O.M.A understand what that is symbolic of. We don't get caught up in that, but I'm showing you how the Creator was using him and shaping him to do the work that he did or is doing. So there's a lot more that he did. I just wanted to share a little bit with you. You can read it on your own, but I'll say this: in February 2015, Kanye, in conjunction with the German apparel company called Adidas, unveiled the first season or collection of long-awaited fashion line called Yeezy. Now, they say German apparel company, but these are German Jews. Did you know you could have German Jews, Italian Jews, black Jews? You could have whatever ethnicity you are, you could also be considered a Jew. From a religious aspect, not ethnic. Because they give you some kind of a ceremony that you become that Jew. Whoopi Goldberg and others. Sammy Davis Jr. See, but they went through a religious ceremony. They served as a cover for the other people that the Bible talk about who call themselves Jews but are the synagogue of Satan.
Yes, sir.
Now I heard that we're not being seen on Facebook, but that's okay. See, I was doing this before there was a Facebook, because my face was in the book when I came up with all that I came up with. I'm just telling it to you like it is. How do you think I got mine? I was the face in the book. And then it mentioned something here again. I'm going to show you something. It was talking about this thing dealing with Twitter when he said, I'm going to go DEFCON 3. But on here it says on Jewish people. But DEFCON is a U.S. military readiness system. I mean, he's being alert. But actually it was a white Jewish comedian that he went off on. And they even showed the video. But I'm showing you again that the same group of people who control the media write it the way they want it to be written. I want to give you another one that got black people angry because they thought that's what he said, but it was a sound bite and they took out the real thing that he said. Again, the media that's owned by the Jews. And I know we can't get real close in it, but I'm going to show you about these 6 Jewish corporations that own 96% of the media. Now watch this. You all heard that he said slavery was a choice, correct? Yep. You want to get this full sentence? Here's what he said. After 400 years, if you still choose to be a slave, that sounds like a choice. Does that sound like what they promoted? No. Don't they know how to stir black people up against each other? But we keep being the doggone fools to let them do that because we keep letting our gods now trusting the people who left you in the water in New Orleans during the truth. But you trust them. And see, Minister Louis Farrakhan got a book called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. But the secret of the relationship was that about 75% of the Jews were our slave owners. And all the footnotes in that particular book, if you look at it, all of the evidence was written by their own scholars, not by the nation. All the references in there were by scholars that were Jewish people. And they don't want you to read that book. It even has the names of the slave masters and what particular state they were in when they owned us. But you want to act as though they are our friends. We are their commodity. So here's a wise black man who looked at other artists like Prince and Michael Jackson, because he even said it on one of them, he ain't finna be like that. When they get to that high level and then they get lost and they can't get out. Because they own your name, they own your image. They say they even own your likeness. Brothers and sisters, when you sign one of them contracts, they own your doggone shadow. Famous Amos, who couldn't hold on to famous Amos cookies, signed one of those contracts and walking around clean shaven because he can't wear that hat on the cookie bag or the beard. Telling the truth. Because he sold his whole soul. That's what that means. Don't you know it said we breathed in the breath of life in the body, became a living soul, but it was out, it was a dead soul. It was your soul at the time that they was talking about. And that's what you sold. That's what you sold to them. They tried to give me one of those contracts. They tried to give Black Ice one of those contracts. But we didn't take it. At all. So here's what he did. Since they couldn't get out of theirs, he was so happy when Balenciaga, whoever had stopped working with him, and his talent agency dropped him. Oh, wow, he got out of that contract, didn't he? The rest of them couldn't. Prince had to be the artist formerly known as Prince. And he went out and did shows, and he didn't write no more songs. If he did, he put them in a vault, because for the length of time of that contract, every song he wrote was going to be under them. So he stopped writing. But he went and toured. He couldn't use his name, formerly called Prince. Michael Jackson, when they left Motown as the Jackson 5, they couldn't take their name. So they became the Jacksons. It's been going on like that. They say this didn't just happen. the two groups that are fighting for world domination on this planet and keeping the others down is this white Anglo-Saxon Protestant and these Gehazarite and Ashkenazi Jews. I'm giving you the exact names of them now. I said Gehazarite and Ashkenazi Jews. They're fighting to rule this planet. And when Trump came in, he was one of the lost white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. He was one of them. And that's why the first thing that he went against was the media. 96% of it all died, the Jews. He couldn't go to Israel's fighting, so he fought them right there, and he called it fake news. Everything about it he said was fake. And it's telling you right here that, look, you got Paramount, TMZ, where you gonna run, y'all? Showtime. I just did a few of them. Fox and Fox News, Nickelodeon, CBS, Showtime, HBO, NBC, University, ESPN, your sports channel, CNN, a lot more, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all pass it around and look at it. But Nickelodeon, y'all might name some. You know, Sci-Fi. Up here we got Comcast, Walt Disney, Sony. All of those people are Jews. If you can pass it around. I don't need it. And this is why people are afraid, because they represent another scripture in the Bible that calls them the prince of the power of the air. That means that they ruling the airways, the FCC. And so every time you make a move to try to be anybody independent of them, they can bring you down because they control our voice. So if you don't really know how to tap into a higher power, I mean, really know how to become one with nature, become one with the atmosphere, become one with the universe, become one with the circuitry of the universe and all things natural according to nature, you will not win against those devils. You're not going to win. You're going to be under them one way or another. So he won because they dropped him. His album's being down 23%. That cuts his tie with that label. His own label is no longer part of Def Jam. The bank cut ties with him. His lawyer dropped him. No access to any post on main social media platforms, so he created one of his own. Vogue cut ties with him. Adidas set to cut ties with him. And you think that ain't what he wanted? All he had to do was say one word about a group called the Jews, and he was free. He's free. Every black billionaire that I know that the white man will not let him stand alone if they're not above him in some sense or another, watching every move he makes. Not gonna let you stand toe to toe. All you gotta do is ask Jay-Z, who is the person over there, Warren Buffett. This man got tired of being over all those people being over him. So he broke away, but he did it so wise. See, a lot of us don't understand. Everybody went crazy. Look, the man has $11 billion. So what is losing $400 million? What is that to a big? They say $1 billion from the time of Jesus to now. If you spent 1,000 a day, you still wouldn't be done spent $1 billion in 2022. So imagine 11 billion, and all you lost out of this, that's a gamble from a billionaire status. To lose 400 million ain't nothing. To lose $1 million, if you got 11 billion, ain't nothing. I lost $1 out of my pocket. I had 100. Now you got 99. So you got to understand his move. It ain't crazy to him, it's crazy to you. Because we always want to spend somebody else's money that ain't ours. And that's one of black people's problems. Stay out of his pocket. He know what he's doing. The man is wise. And so we got to look at it that they're not silencing a man. They're further silencing a people. Another Jew named Clyde Davis in the music world did not want Phyllis Hyman to have her own label. See, this has been going on for years. She wanted her own independence and she wanted her own label. She wanted to be out from under Clyde. And then they found her dead in a hotel right before her show. Dead in a hotel room. But they were already grooming their next artist. He was. And their next artist was Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston had left Clyde, I don't know if y'all remember that, and was seeking her own independence and wanting her own label and all, not back with Clyde Davis. Clyde Davis made sure she know who her replacement was because at an award show, he made sure that Jennifer Hudson gave her award. See, this is the slick, strategic moves they do. Then later on, at a Grammy party, in the same hotel room, I think it was the Beverly Hilton. And I'm gonna let you all know, I even know about the Beverly Hilton. I stayed there, me and our band, for 1 week. Ran into Smokey Robinson, ran into Arnold was a nigga, ran into this little midget guy, I forgot his name. Danny DeVito. You remember that? So we were there. And she was found dead in her hotel room. I'm talking about Whitney Houston. And this person, Clive Davis, devil, said, let's go on with the party. We're not going to stop the party. Didn't allow the ambulance or nobody to come in and get that body or anything to look at the body until the party was over. What happened to black people at the party boycotting him and walking out and telling him, how dare you? No, because he had his hooks in him. They were not going to jeopardize their money. And all that doggone talk that Diddy be talking with his Revolt radio show or television show owned by you, he can't say nothing either. All that crap he was saying during the pandemic couldn't bust a grape because he got it, lock, stock, and barrel. No, he couldn't. These are the words of Minister Louis Farrakhan. We're not going to be free until you get past the Jews. You're not going to be free. Because look, they can deal with what you eat and what you buy. So what you going to do? Look, let me read. Sara Lee, Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, Estee Lauder, Kimberly-Clark, Scott Tissue, Kit Kat, Kleenex, Huggies, Ralph Lauren, Gap, Tommy Hilfiger, Aramis, something called Danone, Maybelline, Calvin Klein, Perrier water, Perrier water, Nescafe, Giorgio Armani, Libby's. Y'all can hear food and other products, right?
Food and clothing.
Food and clothing. And that's not all, that's just some of it. You can keep going. Del Monte, Libby's, let's look at all your labels. And 99% of it happens to be owned by them. So now I'm telling you this because I want you to understand the bravery that Kanye had to have to do what he did to a group of people who basically rule the world and rule everything that we do. So now, I hope I got a little chance. Now, also, I want you to know that they run the American Medical and Dental Association. They run the legal industry. Everybody know what the famous word is when you trying to get a lawyer, don't you?
Call the jury.
Ain't that what they say? You better get you one of them Jews, girl. You better get you one of them Jews, dude, boy, or whatever you call it.
Start a business. Get you a
Yeah. You want to win? You better get you a Jew. Well, let me tell you how T.O.M.A is. Every time and every chance we get to buck that system, we do it. We was given the Jew for my brother's case when he went to jail. We fired that hunky. I'm just telling you now. Because he was trying to Jew us. Hey, lying. You know, I got my witness back there, Omar. And McKee. We dropped him like a hot potato. Hot potatoes, grapes. I'm just like Jesus. He always gave analogies of some kind of farmland or grapes or seeds. All that. Got a man like Jesus, ain't it?
Well, you.
Jesus, yes. And so we got one of the best lawyers in Black America called Lou Myers. And Lou Myers stepped in and won the case. So I'm here to tell you, it ain't all in the hands of the Jews to win your case. But if you get the right one, Black, and you all can ride together, and y'all on the same page, and he must be, I'm gonna say again, must be Black conscious. Don't you get a Black lawyer that ain't Black conscious. If he ain't Black conscious, he's just the Jew in blackface. I'm telling it like it is. Now, moving on. Well, I hope I get to all this.
Yes, sir.
I got only 10 minutes. Let me start reading. Let me help you, Kanye. Because you can't Kanye, you've been conned. In 2003, going all the way back, to back you up, this is what I came up with after a 7-day fast, September the 7th. I said, we must join together, put aside our religious differences and philosophy. We must mount up on wings with the whole armor of God and meet Satan in the air. We must wage a continuous war against major corporations that promote negative images of us and send negative messages throughout our community to the world by way of radio, TV, videos, movies, advertising, and I should have put social media. This is pretty old, 2003.
Social media wasn't there yet.
It wasn't? It wasn't. I'm just letting Kanye know this is on a CD. This is one of our lectures. And we believe in naming names. We must name names. That's what it says. And send out correspondence to the heads of these corporations, demanding that they find a better way to market in our community. For example, take the Brockman family. How they market alcohol to our community. By getting Black artists that are signed to their label to do alcohol commercials. The Brockman family owns the Seagram Empire and Universal Studios, where they produce films, movies, music, etc. He owns Polygram Records, MCA Records also. Then you got Sumner Redstone, write these names down. Paramount Pictures, Blockbuster, Viacom. Y'all know what Blockbuster. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2 of the Holy Bible, it says, wherein time past, ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. The spirit that now works in the children of disobedience. So you want a relationship with us. When your family, the Brockmans, is flooding our community with alcohol, but you want us to be your friend. When it says right here that 80% of all homicides were under the influence of alcohol. 80. But you want us to be your friend? Okay. I'm glad Kanye exposed your behind.
Yes, sir.
Then it says, attack Mr. Mel Karmazin, owning 163 radio stations, including MTV and VH1. This is who owned it back in. You have to look on the paper, they got the updated Jews on it now. Attack the Walgreens family, which is the largest distributor of hard alcohol in the Chicago area. You didn't know that, did you? And guess what? One of his sons is an alcoholic, drinking their alcohol. Then we got, and I said I'll close with 2 quotes. While men slept, that means the parents, the community leaders, the black elected officials, and clergy, while they slept, his enemy, who? Corporate America, the WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, the Jews, the Ashkenazi, and the Asian-right Jews. They came and sold their tares, their spirits, their alcohol, their drugs, their guns among the weak, the black community, and they went their way. And here's where Kanye comes in Ezekiel 33, verse 1 and 9. And because I have time, I'm going to quote some of it from him. Here's where he comes. I set you as a watchman among our people. And that when you see a sign, or when you see some trouble, that your job is to warn our people. And if you don't warn our people when I showed you the sign, their blood will be at your own hands. But if you warn them, and they continue in their way and don't listen, you can wash your hands and you'll be free from whatever it was that would be your lot for not telling. So here's Kanye out speaking up and busting them out from a level that none of us would have been able to do it from. And that level is called billionaire status. Mm-hmm. Billionaires see the world from a different eyesight than you do. Billionaires don't sit in a room and see you. I know you thought he did. You remember how he saw you from that plane 31,000 feet in the air. That's how he saw you. And he sliced his part that he wanted. And if anything, if they have to bulldoze the neighborhood and tear down the houses and whatnot, he'll smile in your face while taking your whole community from you. He gives less. I'm going to say it just like I feel it. These Jews and these WASPs give less than a damn about you, black man, black woman. I'm telling you this, and I ain't scared. Because all you're going to get is a saxophone. I have a dog. I ain't got nothing else. And I'll hand it to you. I won't even fight. No fight. Go. And I might give you the suit, because I ain't into material things. Just give me my house coat and house shoes. I'll make it. You can't shut my mouth. Let's talk about population control. I gotta let you know that we knew about Margaret Sanger too. And I want you to know about Nancy Pelosi because she works with Bill Gates. She said, January 25th, 2009, she said the government's economic stimulus package should include a large increase in spending for population control. This could save the state and federal government the cost of having to pay for health care and education of poor people. She works for Bill Gates, y'all. In that house, 35% of abortions in the United States are performed on black women, while they represent only 12% of the female population. Planned Parenthood, giving you a false name because the work behind it is not planning youth for parenthood. It's a false title. And I thank God that he allowed me to be on the board of directors of the pastors of Inglewood on the day that one of them white Caucasian crackers came to us trying to get us to let them come into the churches to try to help their young women plan their parenthood. Oh, I act dumb like the rest of them was. I know y'all can catch that. I said I acted dumb while the rest of the pastors of Inglewood was. I ain't lying, because they would have let him in if I wouldn't have said nothing. He sat there and told how they could get a grant for it, and how all you got to do is let them come in and do thus and so and whatnot. And I played it off. I said, excuse me, you heard of Margaret Sanger? They said, yeah. I said, oh, okay. I said, there's something called youth, how you say that, youth. He said, oh, euthanasia. I said, oh, yeah. He was setting his own self up. And so I went on to tell him. I said, well, from what I understand, and I've had people tell me this, women tell me this, that your organization called Planned Parenthood don't help our young women plan to be parents after having a child. I said, what I've been hearing, they've been trying to convince them against having a child and to get an abortion. If you ever seen a red white man turn into a beet, y'all know what color the beet? That's how he turned. Standing there, I'm sitting there looking right at him, his whole face turned red, like a big cherry. I'm like, and all the pastors they were looking, and they wanted to pull my coattail. Don't be so hard on me, don't. And we need to slap every black person that think like that. Every time we expose one of them in our community doing what they're doing to us, you need to be slapped, kicked, stoned, and dragged out. You need to be banned from the black community. I'd even tar and feather you if it was me.
That's being nice.
Let me tell you what Margaret Sanger said. No woman should have the legal right to bear a child without a permit for parenthood. Here's a good one here, y'all. We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities, charismatic leaders. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Did y'all hear me? Y'all still gonna get on Kanye from telling the truth? We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Just hire 3 or 4 colored ministers with social service background and with engaging personalities. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of them more rebellious members. Part 2 on Wednesday. And Everett Brofman, the one that owns Universal Studios, his father was the chairman of the World Jewish Congress in 1976. He was awarded Israel's highest form of international recognition. Rahim Emanuel, y'all be careful. He's right here in Chicago. He was part of the Mossad. Mossad got one of his fingers cut off. He did something wrong. Y'all didn't know he had a missing finger, did you? His father is part of that same group. I'll get on him later. How many minutes I got? No. My point is, brothers and sisters, is that the Creator chose Kanye to help trigger Armageddon and Revelation, so that when he went out of that scripture, please don't turn it off yet. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Matthew 24:14. He started out doing it that way. Then he started exposing the synagogue of Satan. Then he works hard to try to get you to understand that these people do not have us in their best interest, but they have us to be dumbed down, because we know that now that the level that he's on, doing what he's doing, he's also instrumental in our rise. Because that which is on the bottom rises to the top. So it begins, brothers and sisters. Will you be willing to take the ride, or will you back off? And if you do, you can't walk with me, because I'm on my way. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear no evil. I'll talk about your mama. Peace.
Let's give another round of hand for all of our speakers and such a powerful lecture from our ministers, those out there on Facebook and Instagram and Line. If you like what you heard and the message that you heard, visit us, follow us, like us, and share. But also come and join us each and every Sunday at 616 East on 71st Street in the, what neighborhood we in? The Grand Crossing neighborhood right here in Chicago. And if you also like to support this grassroots movement, you can donate to us on Cash App or through Giveify, at the Temple of Mercy Association. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
In the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Y'all have any questions for Evan or myself? Y'all want to make a statement?